Welcome to this video lecture series on transportation engineering. In this session, we shall discuss on the design factors for lighting. The various factors which affect the design of the street lighting are: first is the contrast. When the brightness of the object is less than that of its background, then the object appears darker than the road surface. Hence, here it is very essential that uniform lighting is being provided on the streets so that the object is clearly visible for the driver or the user of the road. Next is the height and the overhang of the mounting. Here the glare on the eyes from the mountain light, it causes difficulty for the users of the road if the lights they are mounted at a low height. Hence, if the lights they are mounted at a suitable height, with the increase in the height, the glare it decreases. Usually the mounting height range is from 6 to 10 meters, and the overhang of the light poles, they help in order to provide the lighting at a certain distance from the pavement edges, but still allow the lamps to be held above the curb or towards the pavements. It is very essential that the lighting poles should not be installed very close to the pavement edge, as it may reduce the capacity of the roadway and the free movement of the traffic will be obstructed. The Indian Road Congress has specified the following horizontal clearances for the lighting poles. As you can see from the table, first, for the roads with the raised curbs, as in the case of the urban roads, the distance of the pole from the edge of the road should be minimum 0.3 meters, and which is desirable to be of 0.6 meters from the edge of the raised curb. In the second case, for the roads without the raised curbs, as it is in the case of the rural roads, minimum 1.5 meter from the edge of the carriageway, subjected to a minimum of 5 meters from the center line of the carriageway. As you can see from the figure, the lighting layouts. In the first case, when the lighting is to be provided on a single side, then it may be provided at a distance of 30 to 60 meters center to center. But has to be provided staggered form, then the lightnings they can be provided at a distance of 30 to 60 meters center to center in a staggered formation. Whereas if it is provided on both the ends of the road, then they can be provided again at a distance or spacing of 30 to 60 meters. Second is the lighting layout for the intersections. As you can see from the figure, that at the intersections the lighting it should be provided at a distance of 25 meters center to center, with one pole provided at the center line of the roadway at the perpendicular intersection. Next, if you see the effect of mounting of the overhang on the length of the road, here as the height of the pole it goes on increasing along with the overhang portion, then we can see the shadow effect of the vehicle onto the road, as with the least height of the pole and the least overhang, the shadow is maximum, that is at point A dash. The beam of light or the aim of light from point A to A dash is the aim of light. Next, point B to B dash, with the increase in the height of the pole but with the minimum overhang, we can see that there is a certain decrease of the length of shadow as compared to point A dash. And at the increased height of the pole with the increased overhang portion of the pole, the shadow or the length of the shadow is the least, point C dash. Here it is also necessary that due to this increased height of the pole and the overhang portion, the glare of the light as well as the uniform distribution of the light is in an excellent condition. That means the glare is reduced, but at the same time the uniform distribution of light is being provided. Next, we shall see regarding the vertical aiming. Vertical aiming is just the location of the bulb onto the pole, forming the aimed beam of light. This fixature, it should be aimed at 2/3 of the distance across the area which is to be lightened, or at least at an angle of 30 degrees from the horizontal as shown in the figure. Now, for example, if an area to be lighted is 16 meters across, the recommended aiming point will be 10.6 meters. Aiming point will be equals to 2/3 of the distance to be lighted. So in this case, 2/3 into 16 meters will be equals to 10.6 meters. That is the aiming point. And to minimize the glare, it is recommended that aiming point distance should never exceed twice the mounting height. So if a pole is 8 meters high, then the vertical aiming point, it should not exceed the 16 meters. That is 2 into 8 meters, that is the mounting height, will be equals to the 16 meters. Mounting height, it should be 1/2 the distance across the area to be lightened. That means if 16 meter is the width of the road which is to be lightened, so in that case the height of the pole or the mounting height of the light, it should be at 16 divided by 2, that is 8 meters. Spacing of the light units. Now the spacing of the light on the straight roads is about 3 to 5 times the mounting heights. For example, if 8 meter is the mounting height, then the spacing of the poles will be at a distance of say 8 into 3 or 8 into 5 meters. For the sharp curves, the spacing between the lamps is closer for the better visibility conditions. And when more than one luminaire or pole is being provided or required, then the distance between the two adjacent poles is 4 times the mounting height of the pole. And if the mounting height of the pole is 8 meters, then the distance between the adjacent pole or luminaire is 32 meters. So here pole equals to 4 into the mounting height. So 4 into 8, that equals to 32 meters. So as you can see how actually the spacing for the electrical poles is being provided. Spacing again can be calculated with this formula, that is lamp in lumens multiplied by coefficient of utilization multiplied by the maintenance factor divided by the average lux into the width of road. And here the coefficient of utilization is obtained from the above graph, wherein the coefficient of utilization is on the y-axis to the ratio of the width of area upon the mounting height taken on the x-axis. The maintenance factor takes into account the decrease in the efficiency of the lamp with the age, and average value of about 80% it can be assumed. Now the lightning layouts. Various types of layouts are adopted for the lightning poles on the street or the highways, amongst which first is the single side lightning, next second is the both side lightning on the opposite sides, then both side lightnings in the staggered form, and lastly is the central lightning system or central lightning layouts. Now the benefits of the highway lightning. Highway lightning has got its benefits to provide proper street lightnings. Hence the police, they can perform better patrolling during the nights, and their work or their job, it becomes more easier and manageable. It increases the business in the city or a town during the nights, which in case if no lighting was provided would have been affected. Third, the architects and the town planners have found lighting to be a major source of beautification for their projects. That means lighting, it can be used now not just a purpose for providing the lighting, but also to create a certain aesthetic effects. Due to the good lighting, street lighting, there is a considerable reduction in the accident rates during the night, as better vision can be made possible. Hence, the road user gets good vision or a good view while traveling or moving on the road, hence avoiding the collision or accidents. The illegal actions and antisocial activities on the roads, they are certainly discouraged by the improved lighting techniques. And lastly, it gives a pleasant atmosphere during the night. With this, we come to an end of Unit 3. Here are the references. With this, we shall stop. Thank you.